Sup, Nerdmigos? I'm the Jive Talking Nerd, John Norgrove. We've got Wife here, and we're back at it again for another Trek Jive. This is Star Trek Lower Decks Season 4, Episode 5, Empathological Fallacies. My God, that word is so hard to say.
I'm just like,
Empathological is like,
titles.
it's like if I say it, and like I'm keeping it in my head, I can say it reasonably, but every time I look at the word on the screen, because we like just finished the episode, so we still have the like menu open, I look at it and I'm just like, man, I don't know how to say that.
You're like,
get out of here.
doing the like syllable thing.
I'm doing the math meme, but with sounds. Sound math. Word math.
Not to be confused with word problems.
Or word soup or word fridge magnets. You all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So, word soup. But okay, so spoiler-free review on this one. This was such a good episode. Oh my, what a fun episode.
This felt very much like an episode right out of TNG.
It did. This episode very much screamed like
Picard shenanigans.
I mean, honestly, it felt very up there with a Delta Quadrant crazy. You know, it felt not like Janeway Chakotay Delta Quadrant crazy. It felt very Tom Paris Delta Quadrant crazy, where he's up to a shenan and you're just like, I can't look away. It's like a car accident. It's
it's either
so
like
insane.
a shenanigan with like a Deanna Troy's mom and
what
Picard.
What did they just do? Find
or one with the Voyager crew.
The
boys.
Yeah, the boys. The boys of Voyager. What did you do? Find a truck floating out in space? Let's not address that and just make this a weird story.
Yeah.
You know, or like the doctor's like, I just made a family. And they're like, I feel like we're gonna have to send an adult in to talk to you because this seems weird, bro. Right? And then that takes like a hard left turn, like that sort of energy. But yeah, definitely a good episode, definitely worth watching. You know, I'm getting a lot of the same vibes from this season of Lower Decks as I did from the second season of Strange New Worlds. Mm-hmm. Right? Where it's like, it feels like every episode is just like build. Each episode is so good. There's so much happening. Like, if you are I get that reference kind of person when you watch Star Trek, this episode is gonna got you, bro. It's a lot. There's so much. But yeah, it's definitely a good episode. We're just gonna have to go into spoilers with that. So with that, spoiler alert, these Betazoids. Let me tell you about these, what would you call them? Elder Betazoid babes or whatever, right? Like drinking their
Betazoids of a certain age.
Yeah, Betazoids of a certain age.
How the captain put it.
I like they're like drinking, they're like walking the street of,
they're drinking the Vegas drinks.
The Vegas, like walking the streets of Vegas with the big plastic cocktail, like energy to the entire thing, which is super fantastic. This is kind of A plot, B plot, but not really. I would really say that this is like just one consistent plot in this episode, which is like this sort of big overarching thing, although the main character pathways are the Betazoid trio and the Vulcan lieutenant, junior grade, which is, I love her character so much. I'm so glad we got a her mostly episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's so funny. Oh my goodness. Absolutely fantastic there. A ton of references to like TNG stuff. A lot of like, we get to see the flip side of these characters.
Yeah.
Kind of energy, as well as there is, I don't know if this is canon before now, but the Cadians used to hunt and eat Betazoids thing. I truly don't know what to do with that knowledge.
I don't either.
I'm like, I don't think I've heard of that. I'm like, the whole time in the background while we were watching the episode after we learned that, like a small fraction of my brain was like searching through the treasure trove. It's a dumpster fire.
The file cabinet of Trek lore in your head.
It's less a file cabinet, which implies a degree of organization, and more like a big hidden government warehouse full of poorly described boxes. You know, what's in this box? That box just got a Nazi symbol on it. Well, that's not very informative. Maybe we should have like something more informative on what's on this fucking box, right? So it's like that kind of energy in here. But I don't know that I've ever heard that before. I don't think I have. I think that's novel information, and I love it. That's ridiculous. What?
It is pretty ridiculous.
Right? And then, of course, after we learn that, and then we find out, like, oh, the Betazoid gals are, like, probably got some sort of a syndrome, so they're transmitting their mind energies or whatever the fuck. My first thought was, well, but then why would it affect the Doctor? Because if Cadians used to, and only stopped a couple of centuries ago?
Long enough ago so that they could only hunt synthetic Betazoids now.
Yeah, which means that, like, potentially
like,
they were hunting and eating Betazoids when, like, Kirk was captain, which is horrifying.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, like that's actually not that far-fetched, because remember in Discovery, they were like
Saru's people were still being et.
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
that's true.
So,
that's true.
Like,
yeah,
that's not that far off. I'm not really that surprised about that.
Yeah. It just
like,
it seems,
is it horrifying?
Well,
yes,
maybe. I don't
absolutely. But like, surprise,
depends on how you feel about Walks on a Troy. Like it felt very recent, but like immediately I'm like, why would she be affected if they're like sending Betazoid mind powers out there?
Yeah.
Right? Because like if you're hunting and eating this species for long enough that y'all got like warp as shit, don't you think you would have some sort of resistance to that? Because a Betazoid could just like mind take you while they're being hunted.
Yeah, I did not
right?
think about it at all.
So that was like
I was just like, checks out.
That was like my first thought was like, well, that doesn't make any sense. There must be something up. And then the Betazoid started acting incredibly sus. And I'm just like,
more incredibly
right?
sus.
So what I thought was maybe they're using one of those mind taker machines that the Ferengis have that took Picard's mind. Or maybe they got their hands on one of those and are trying to take the ship's mind or something. So I was like the whole time I'm just like, it seems like it's something else. And then of course when the shoe drops that it's actually Vulcan mind shenanigans and not Betazoid mind shenanigans, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. The Cadian don't eat Vulcan, so like they would like not know or what. They wouldn't be able to like block those mind powers or whatever. That's totally headcanon. Like, who knows? But in my mind, like if Cadians are eating mind takers, then like they gotta be able to resist the mind taking. That seems reasonable. Right? But, so I was kind of always sus that the Betazoids were just using their straight mind powers on that. But we found out that it was actually Vulcan mind shenanigans, but she was able to just calm that shit down by, like, talking it out. Who'd have thunk? And also, everybody kind of brushed away the fact that these Betazoids were, in fact, lying. Regardless, because they're just Charlie's Angels up in here.
Yeah,
they're just like Lady Betazoid spies.
Yeah, they were just like Charlie's Angels.
They're just like Charlie's Angels up in here. Yeah, which is great. Give me more of that. What the heck, man? So the Betazoids sent Charlie's Angels out to try and figure out what's going on with the weird ship that's blowing everybody up.
Yeah,
which is like real nice background energy.
Yeah.
Right? You can feel that, like, it's the same. I'm getting the same vibes as I was getting from Strange New Worlds Season 2 that I'm getting here in Lower Decks Season 4, where they're just like, there's a background threat. Maybe towards the end you're going to get a shenan about it. Yeah. Like, I'm getting a lot of that energy, so I'm very like, all right, well, like, what's going on with this? When's the reveal going to come? I'm even more convinced that the reveal is gonna come as like the closing scene or the season finale of this season. It's just gonna be like, it's been me all along, right? You know, the like Scooby-Doo gang pulls the mask off the old guy and he's like, it's been the janitor this whole time. And then like screen goes black, credits.
Yeah.
Right? That's like 100% what I think is gonna happen. Also, I recognized some of the voice of one of the Betazoid ladies, which we looked up, and I have already forgot the actress's name.
I don't know, but if you look it up,
yeah,
you'll be like, it's that lady.
Yeah, you'll recognize her from like 30 Rock and such like that. I didn't know what her name was to begin with. I just like recognized her voice. I was like, I gotta look this up before I do this review. and then immediately screwed up and closed that tab. So yay for you guys for having to look it up also. But yeah, no, it was super fun. I loved that Tendi just wants to be friends with this Vulcan officer, and it's insane.
Badly. Yeah.
I love that Boimler was trying to just remember every single officer on the ship's name.
It's such a Boimler
That's so
thing to
Boimler
do. Yeah.
energy. And also that there was like a species where they all had the same name, but one was like regular one and big one and sleepy
sad
one or sad one or whatever. It was very funny.
Yeah. Very fun.
And also our Vulcan officer isn't going to leave. She's staying on the ship.
Yay.
Which I'm very excited about. I'm very into her.
Yeah.
She's very rapidly becoming one of my favorite characters. Absolutely. I love the dichotomy of putting her in a situation with this utterly insane and ridiculous crew of like
I really
primary characters.
I really like the idea that they have it where like her closest confidant is
Mariner. Yeah.
Because Mariner is the most chaotic of all of them.
Right.
It's a little bit like how extroverts choose introverts and vice versa.
It's very true.
As friends, we're just like, you're my friend.
Yeah. I'm gonna drag you to parties, and so good luck
But don't worry, I will make sure that you're safe and I will be with you.
Yeah. When your battery runs out, we go home.
Yeah.
Like that kind of energy. No, it's super great. I love their like little friendship
it's really
thing
adorable.
that's happening there. It's very, very adorable. We didn't get a lot of Rutherford.
No, but that's fine.
We got a lot of the first officer and his drama, which is fun. He should probably talk to the counselor, who also maybe needs to talk to a larger counselor, because he has some repressed anger, my guy.
Yeah, he definitely does.
He went bonkers on that replicator.
Yeah, you did. You did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Also, how interesting was it that, like, Mariner was able, once it was, like, once she was, like, made aware that there was a shenan, she was able to, like, overcome the shenan, and for the most part keep her shit together during it, even though we learned that proximity makes it worse.
Yeah.
Right? And she was, like, with her the entire time.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting. Secret Mariner powers, mayhaps.
Yeah.
About that.
I mean, also a thing that I'm not surprised about.
Well, I think it's just that Mariner's already pretty chaos, so she's just like, I know how to rein this in, my dude.
Well, and she's also like, you can't tell me that I have no control over being crazy.
Yeah.
It's very much like, you can't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
Totally. I think just by the sheer power of rebellious child, she can overcome the chaoticness of the emotions.
Yeah, completely.
In this situation.
Yeah, no, this was such a fun episode, So many, like, little references. They had the, like, people in those, like 90s American Gladiator fighting suit things with the little boppers from TNG, which was super fun. There was like a ton of little references in this. Oh, we also got to see we saw one or two officers in like head wraps.
We did.
Hijabs, although I don't know if what they're wearing is like technically a hijab. But like the head wrap thing, which was really cool. We've seen another officer in a previous episode with something, but I think this time it was like a female officer, which is super interesting. So that was really rad.
We also saw two dudes making out.
We did see two dudes making out.
Love the diversity
and
that they're putting here.
Like underwear and bras human pyramid, which is so bonkers. But also, I noticed that Tendi was still wearing her uniform. Good job, guys. Well, it fits her character so well as somebody who's like, I'm Orion, but I'm not like that kind of Orion.
Yeah.
You know? She's not like other Orion energy.
That's true.
And so, of course, everybody else is like, we're getting in our boxers. And she's like, oh, you don't want to do one button down. But, like, thank you. No, thank you. That was very fun. But, so what was best bit for you in this episode? There's, like, a lot in this episode. This was a very fast-paced episode for me.
I really loved the party time Betazoid stuff. That's always so fun for me. It's such a different energy than like literally almost all of Star Trek has.
Oh, any Betazoid shenanigans?
Yeah, these like Betazoid shenanigans are always like Dionysian in their level of debauchery.
Yeah.
Whatever the debauchery is,
totally.
it's always like very extreme, and it's always interesting because it is so different, and like the crew has to be like, "Oh, what's happening?" At some point, because it does not match decorum. So I really love that stuff.
Totally. Yeah, I think for me the best bit for this was probably the Worf poetry slam, like jazz poetry slam thing. When the chief of security.
Are you trying to tell me that you enjoy poetry slam?
Not at all. No, I do not. I'm not saying that whatsoever. But I do enjoy a good Worf poetry slam. That is hilarious. In fact, that whole scene, all of the scenes when they were in their like security training room, where they're like, we got a puzzle, and it's like a puzzle of Malcolm Reed from Enterprise. And they had like tarot cards, which were super cool. And Boimler was getting a tarot reading from the chief of security, which I was like very into. That's hilarious.
Somebody make this tarot deck, please.
Yeah. Star Trek. Come on. I know there's a TNG tarot deck, but don't buy that.
And there's also like those Romulan.
It is. That TNG tarot deck is bad.
Cards
yeah, the Romulan tarot really thing. What's going on with that, guys? Star Trek, get your shit together, man.
How dare.
Come on. Yeah. That's we want to give you money. I know, who'd have thunk, but we want to give you money. So give us the option, please. But yeah, you out there, comment below. What was your best bit, your favorite part? What did you think of this episode? Do you have more? What do you call it? Tinfoil hat conspiracies about who this laser ship people person machine are? Because like we don't know anything.
Yeah.
Right? Like it could just be like a bit of another larger robot, which would be hilarious. Oh my god. But so like we have no clue what's going on with that. And what do you think about our Vulcan Lieutenant Junior grade staying aboard the Cerritos? I'm very jazzed about that. She's rapidly becoming one of my favorite characters. Absolutely support. So yeah, either way, I have been John Norgrove. This has been Wife. This has been Trek Jive, Lower Decks, Season 4, Episode 5, Empathological Fallacies. So we will catch you guys next time. Live long and prosper.